States has reversed its stance on Israeli settlements, no longer considering them to be illegal. This is a break from international law. In this edition of the debate, we ask, why has the U.S. taken this decision at this point, and whether this is another nail in the coffin of the so-called deal of the century? We'll also look at other steps that the U.S. has taken, which may not leave much for the Palestinians to negotiate.
The US has changed its stance on the Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank in a dramatic break from international law, as well as decades-long policy of Washington itself and most of its allies.
After carefully studying all sides of the legal debate, this administration agrees with President Reagan. The establishment of Israeli civilian settlements in the West Bank is not, per se, inconsistent with international law.
The new US position was swiftly rejected by senior Palestinian officials.
The United States is neither qualified nor is authorized to negate international legitimacy resolutions, and it has no right to give any legitimacy to Israeli settlements.
The statements of Secretary Pompeo constitute a total departure of the US administration, or should I say the Trump administration, from international law, the rule of law, solving conflicts by peaceful means. They are replacing international law with the law of the jungle.
Palestinian resistance movements Hamas and Islamic Jihad also condemned the US decision, saying it further reflects America's animosity towards the Palestinian nation, as well as its support for Israeli terrorism. However, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu missed no time to hail the US announcement, saying Washington has, quote, righted a historical wrong and accepted the reality on the ground. The US declaration has seemingly opened a new rift with its allies in Europe and in the Islamic world. In a statement, the European Union Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini said the bloc's policy on Israeli settlements remains unchanged and that all such activities on the occupied Palestinian land are illegal. Jordan warned that the US policy change would have dangerous consequences, while Egypt called the Israeli settlements illegal and counter to international law. The US declaration marks not only a shift in its legal position on the issue since 1978, but also a rejection of a 2016 UN Security Council resolution that calls settlements in the West Bank a flagrant violation of international law.
Okay, Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to you Akim out there that's pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. This is a news clip from Press TV's The Debate, and they're going into the situation was going on in Israel, where them Israelis, them gutter rats, are occupying the land which they have taken from the so-called Palestinians. Now, technically, neither one of them belong in that land. That land belonged to the sons of Israel. But, as it's stated in the scriptures, you have the heathen that's occupying that land right now. So, without further ado, I'm going to get into these scriptures, because what's happening over is these nations that's in that region do not, and I repeat, do not recognize the Israeli government as a legitimate state. So therefore, they are pissed off, and they claim, and they stating that the Israeli occupation, as well as the support from the U.S. government of the occupation, is violating international law. Because what they're doing is bulldozing people's homes, taking them out of, kicking them out of the settlements that's over there, and committing all kind of atrocities. Whenever they get ready, they engage in an unlawful war and kill innocent children. So-called innocent women and children. But nobody perished being innocent. We know that. But the truth of the matter is, neither one of them gutter rats or them Arabs that's calling themselves Palestinians belong over there. And them Arabs are not the true Palestinians because that name goes back to the Philistines. And the Philistines were Hamites. So Esau has everything all fucked up, man. Excuse my language. Everything is all screwed up over there. Esau, the so-called white man, done caused all kind of, committed all kind of atrocities, caused all kind of confusion, have everything all turned upside down that nobody knows anything. But, truth be told, once again, what's going to happen is the least of the flock, which are them Israeli gutter rats, is going to draw all these nations, and they're going to destroy America as well as their Israeli counterparts that call themselves Israelis, but they are Khazars. And that's what's going to happen. This is Jeremiah chapter 49 verse 20. It says, "Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that he have taken against Edom," Esau, Edom, the Edomites, the so-called white man, "and his purpose that he hath proposed against the inhabitants of Teman." Now the Temanites are the so-called Germans, which are also Edomites that's occupying that land. And they are confederate with the United States government. In fact, the Germans, right along with Great Britain and France, those are the strong, the parts of iron, the part of iron, which is mentioned in the 10 toes. So they are part of they are financially strong and they military strong, man. Compared to the rest of the European nations, Great Britain, France, and Germany are the three strong nations financially and militarily. The rest, we basically rely upon Great Britain, France, and Germany. So it says, therefore, back in Jeremiah chapter 49 verse 20, "Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that he have taken against Edom." It says, "and his purpose that he hath proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out." Now who's the least of the flock? Them gutter rats that's called themselves Israelis, but they really Khazars. They're really Khazars, man. They are not the true people that belong in that land. And you really gotta watch what you say right now, because YouTube is basically on some bullshit, and they are taking down the apostles' pages. They are taking down different brothers' pages throughout the states, left and right. So we really gotta watch what we say. We don't have a strong platform, not anymore, especially when it comes to YouTube, because YouTube, they are saying that we are violating their terms and conditions by speaking hate speech, but yet they have such cartoons as what the Apostle Gabar brought out, Mammy Two Shoes. They will show women twerking. They will show homosexual parades, lesbian parades. But that's not violating their guidelines. So therefore, they will keep them videos up there, and they claim that the men of Great Millstone and other Israelite camps are violating their terms and conditions by speaking from the Bible, teaching the Bible. Just like the Apostle Gabar said, showing hypocrisy of YouTube. But back to the lesson. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Who's the least of the flock? Them Israeli gutter rats over there that's occupying that land illegally. Because neither one of them belong over there. Neither do them gutter rat Khazars, nor are them stinking ass green teeth, brown teeth, funky Ishmaelites, man. They don't belong over there either. That's not their land. It says, surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Hey, he is talking about them Israeli gutter rats is going to make the habitations of Esau, the so-called white man, which is America, and certain parts of Great Britain, certain parts of France and Germany, desolate right along with them because, like I stated earlier in the lesson, most of them countries over there do not recognize the Israeli government as being a legitimate state or a country, whatever you fancy to call it. Verse 21, it says, and matter of fact, I'm gonna go back to verse 20. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. How are they going to make the habitation of Esau desolate? Thermonuclear destruction. When the Mosai Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, put the spirit on these nations to assemble themselves, that a great assembly that's spoken about in Jeremiah, one of my favorite chapters, one of my favorite verses, Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, the 9th verse. That assembly of great nations that's going to come up against America. And that's how the habitations of Esau is going to become desolate. Starting with Russia, which is another Edomite counterpart, but they are at odds with each other. See, the Most High is going to use Esau to destroy Esau with them nuclear missiles, also concentrated fire from them chariots. When Yahweh Shah cracked them skies, bringing the 3 Ds, in which I call the 3 Ds, death, destruction, and deliverance. So it says, the earth is exceedingly moved at the noise of their fall. And what's going to make the earth move exceedingly at the noise of their fall? What's going to make that great noise? Thermonuclear destruction, hypersonic and supersonic and ICBM nuclear missiles is going to make the earth move exceedingly at the noise. And that noise is going to be boom, 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 boom. When that beast of destruction come and let's take everything in its path, man, which is that nuclear wind. The earth is moved exceedingly. It's like the earth is moved at the noise of their fall. At the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea, which is over in the Middle East. All these nations are going to see the fall and they're going to hear. It says, matter of fact, before I'm going to hold that real quick and I'm going to get Isaiah, the 24th chapter, showing you how the earth is going to move exceedingly to and fro. This is Isaiah chapter 24, verse 19. And it reads, the earth is utterly broken down, the earth is clean dissolved. And what instrument could break the earth down when it's utterly broken and clean dissolved? Concentrated fire from them chariots, them laser beams, and thermonuclear destruction. The best purifying agent to purify land is by fire, man. The best purifying agent to purify anything is by fire. It says, back in Isaiah the 24th chapter, the 19th verse, the earth was utterly broken down, the earth is clean dissolved, the earth is moved exceedingly. And what's going to move the earth exceedingly? Thermonuclear destruction coming from Russia, China, coming from all these nations that have nuclear capabilities, and that's going to bend the bow, man. That's going to destroy America. That's going to make the earth move exceedingly, because what's going to happen is America is going to shoot missiles back, because you're going to have missiles coming from the west to the north and the east, and from the east and the north to the west, man. It's going to be horrific, and that's going to make the earth rock. Verse 20, Isaiah chapter 24, verse 20. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it. It shall fall and not rise again. And what's part of the transgression that's heavy upon it? Esau's philosophies, man. The so-called white man's democracy, the so-called white man's laws that he like to pass, upholding homosexuality, putting a woman above a man. Transgressing the laws of the Most High wholeheartedly, man. And that's what Esau, the so-called white man, likes to do, man. Transgress the laws of the Most High. It says, verse 20, the earth shall rule to and fro like a drunkard, and shall remove like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. Verse 21, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, which are the Illuminati, the international bankers, the ones that call themselves the bearers of light, but they are the bearers of light, the illuminated ones, but on the left hand side, man, because they conjure up these demons in which the Most High is allowing that to happen, because the Most High, the dual nature of the Most High is he control both sides. So the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, is allowing Esau to conjure up these demons and get power from the left-hand side until he destroyed them. So that's the dual nature of the Most High, in which you people out there doing, you wacky-tacky Christians, have not a clue, man. You think that Satan is fighting against the Most High, whereas it tells you in the book of Job and in the book of Kings, I think it's 2 Kings, I'm not mistaken, how the Most High controls both sides of the spectrum. But you people have not a clue, man. You wacky-tacky ass Christians have not a clue. Because you're too dumb to realize you're dumb. Because you're dumb. So it says, the earth, matter of fact, I'm down by Isaiah the 24th chapter, the 21st verse. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth, and they shall be gathered together, as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days they shall be visited. Yeah, because when the men that make it, the first fruits of the sons of Israel, the governing body, come back out of them, crack them skies after being beamed up in them chariots, they're going to come and they're going to take them, the international bankers, the first fruits of slaves, just like you got the first fruits of the sons of Israel that's going to be delivered, you got the first fruits of slaves from the international bankers, starting with the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Oppenheimers, on down. And it's going to be served out to them continual employment. Pursuant to Ezekiel, the 39th chapter, the 14th verse, is going to be served out to them continual employment, man. And that word employment means slavery. So it's going to be served out to them continuing slavery. Their first task is going to be burying the dead, man. Flagging them where the dead bodies are at and burying the dead, man. That's going to be their task, man. The first task of the international bankers. Your first job after you get snatched up and put into slavery, after you get chains slapped on your red ass neck, your red ass feet, and your red ass waist, right along with your women, right along with your children, you're going to get the shit beat out of you. You're going to get beaten to submission, and then you're going to be working them fields. Simple and plain. Back in Jeremiah chapter, last verse, back in Jeremiah 49 verse 22. Behold, he shall come up and fly as an eagle and spread his wings over Basra. Now Basra represents the ancient city, the capital of Edom. Now you can equate America with Basra. And he's talking about Yahweh Shah right along with them nuclear missiles, them ICBM nuclear missiles that's going to be coming over here, man, to destroy this land. And at the very same time, Yahweh Shah is going to crack them skies with the holy angels bringing death, destruction, and deliverance, man. Behold, he shall come up, back in Jeremiah chapter 22, verse 49, verse 22. Behold, he shall come up and fly as an eagle and spread his wings over Basra. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. Esau is going to be scared like a bitch. That red bitch nigga, that red bitch Edomite is going to be so scared the Most High likened to him being as a woman. And when calamity come upon a woman, they fall, they break. So that's exactly what's going to happen to Esau in the time of his visitation, when Esau, the so-called white man, gets snatched out of his rulership. We're at the end, red bastard. We're at the end of your rulership, and it's being manifested, man. These prophecies are coming to pass. And with that, I'm going to give all praises once again to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations you Akim out there that push this word in truth and in sincerity. Hey, the least of the flock shall draw them out. We see what's going on, man. Shalom, Akim.